Hey there, this is Christine. Thanks for tuning into my Mostly Keto Kitchen today. What I would like to talk about is going to build on a previous video where I spoke about sucrose. So sucrose is just your standard table sugar, and it's made up of a glucose and a fructose. And the glucose and fructose parts go separate ways once you eat them. The fructose ends up going to your liver, and that's where it gets processed, and it can create something called fatty liver. Now, I want to spend a little bit more time talking about fatty liver disease because this is becoming a serious issue in our society. About 34% of the population has fatty liver disease, and in the Latino population, this is even a higher number. And part of the reason why is because there's a genetic allele that causes the fructose to get converted into fat even more quickly. So this is it's a pretty serious issue. Now, I've got two molecules drawn on the board, and if you've been watching my videos, you may start becoming familiar now with fructose. So here's fructose, but this one that I have up above it, that is ethanol. So that's alcohol. It's the alcohol that you would drink. And both of these can lead to liver disease. So you may have heard alcohol is not good for your liver. Well, yeah, it can create what's called alcoholic liver disease. But the same thing's true for the fructose. That can also create a type of liver disease called NAFLD. And so that stands for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, how does that happen? Well, it happens in a fairly similar mechanism. Both of these two carbon-containing compounds, here and here, they get converted into acetyl-CoA. And that is also a little carbon-containing compound, but it's only got two carbons in it. One here and one here. And those two little carbons can get linked to another two little carbons and another two and another two and another two and make a big long chain. And that chain is then the fatty acid chain on a triglyceride. Now, triglyceride is just the way that our body stores fat. So that's all that is. Now, under normal circumstances, this is great. This is what your liver is supposed to be doing. The liver processes all sorts of molecules, some of which are toxic, and it flushes them out, and others, if they have nutrient value to them, it converts them into something that your body can use. So very normal. But the problem comes in when you're consuming too much alcohol or too much fructose. And then that's when the fat that your liver made either doesn't leave the liver, or if it leaves the liver, it ends up coming back to the liver, and then it starts accumulating, and that's what all these little white blobs are on the liver. So how do you know if you're going down a path towards getting fatty liver disease? Well, there is a blood test called the alanine aminotransferase blood test, and chances are your primary care doctor has run this test on you before, so you may even have blood tests for it, or test results for it. It ends up that the value should be below 20. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I can't give you medical advice, but from my readings, what I've learned is that what used to be the upper limit, which was maybe like in the 70s, was around 26 or so, that upper limit has been pushed all the way up around 56 now. So, and that is because the results of the blood test, the average is just the average for the population. And so if our whole population is getting more and more fatty liver, that has really skewed where the average is supposed to be. So where I get this kind of information is from a super awesome doctor named Peter Attia, and he runs a podcast. So every Monday he puts out a podcast that goes pretty in depth in the biochemistry and medicine and all sorts of other topics. And several months ago, he had a pediatric endocrinologist on his show, and this guy's name is Robert Lustig, and he's super awesome too. He's a fabulous advocate for healthy eating and kids, and he's just doing all sorts of really amazing things. So I will put a link to this podcast in the description, and if you want more information, definitely go and check it out. So, all right, thanks so much for watching.